Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Angie and I'm an 18-year-old teen mom to two beautiful babies, Hudson and Nevaeh. And in today's video, I am just going to kind of chat with you guys as if you are here, just a casual, normal chat about breastfeeding and kind of my journey with it and all of that, just because I feel like it's one of those things that is very, oh, it's so natural. It's gonna come so easy. And it wasn't for me. So I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys about it and my journey and what I've been through. And it's obviously not the same for everyone. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys. So let's get into the video. With my daughter, Nevaeh, I breastfed about 3 weeks, and she's my first kid, the first one I had. I breastfed her about 3 weeks, and I came out of the hospital pumping, nursing, and giving Nevaeh a bottle. Like, I just came home, was like, okay, let's pump using an electric breast pump, a hand breast pump, giving her a bottle when I didn't feel like feeding her, nursing her, which made her not want to nurse because she was taking a bottle. She wanted the bottle more. And so that kind of decreased my supply. So I eventually just completely dried up by 3 weeks, which is really, really soon to dry up. And obviously it's like breastfeeding is a supply and demand thing. The more that your baby eats off of you, the more you're going to produce. So the fact that she only wanted to eat out of a bottle and not off of me kind of decreased my supply. That, and for some reason, whenever I have a baby, my appetite is the worst. Like, literally, I could probably go 2 days without even feeling hungry. So after I had Nevaeh, I didn't feel like eating anything, didn't want to eat anything. It was the same when I had my son. I didn't want to eat, which if you're not eating, you're not producing. If you're not drinking, you're not producing. And the same thing, I'm really, really bad about drinking water. I'm sure tons of other people are, but I'm horrible at drinking water. So there was nothing to really like produce. Like, I mean, if you're not giving your body liquid, how is it going to produce liquid? So that is my breastfeeding story with Nevaeh. I also got mastitis in the beginning with Nevaeh. It honestly wasn't a super bad case of mastitis. It went away super quickly and I hardly even remember it. It wasn't bad at all, as bad as I've heard it can get. So then obviously I had my second kid, my little boy, and his name is Hudson. And he is now 4 months old. So I have been breastfeeding for 4 months, which I'm so incredibly proud of myself. I did not see myself getting this far. I didn't imagine myself getting this far, because breastfeeding for me is really, really hard. It doesn't come naturally like some women say it do. It just, for me, it did not come naturally. It was just, it's hard for me. But basically, instead of pumping this time when I had him, because I felt like that participated in drying me up, I literally just fed him. That was it. And I used a haka, which just catches your letdown. It doesn't pull anything out. It's just there, and it just catches your letdown, which would just be wasted milk anyways, into a nursing pad. So I was just feeding him and using the haka, and I did that for, I want to say, the last 3 months. I had just been doing that. So I had a good supply of frozen milk. I was doing good nursing, and then it came a point where he started eating every single hour. I'm not even kidding you guys. He was eating every single hour of the night. He was eating every single hour during the day, and that can be emotionally and mentally wearing on me, on a mother, having to be there every hour to feed the baby. Like, you can't go anywhere, you can't leave, you can't have a break, like just feeding, like that is it. So I started giving him bottles with the frozen breast milk that I had collected over the few months with my haka. So I started giving him that, and once I gave him a bottle right before bed, he slept the entire night. For the very first time, he slept all night. I continued to do that, and he has slept through the night 3 times, and those 3 times was when he had those 3 bottles. And when I was giving him these bottles, I was not pumping, so that kind of threw off my supply a little bit, which I didn't realize was a problem until I started being like, okay, well, he's not eating, so it's not gonna want to produce if he's not gonna eat. So, and I'm not pumping, so obviously it's not gonna want to produce. So yeah, I was doing that, and then I went skiing one day with my husband, and I left the kids with my aunt, and I did not pump or feed or anything for 8 hours that we were gone. 8 hours. I felt myself getting full, and then I fed him when I got back to my aunt's, but for 8 hours I completely was not doing anything, which is not good for your supply at all. So I did that. So at this point, my supply was decreased because I hadn't been pumping, I hadn't been feeding very often, and the milk supply I'd built up in the freezer was very, very low. I probably had 2 little packets of milk left, and low supply of milk in my boobs, low supply of milk in the freezer bag. So there was a scarce amount of breast milk in this household, to say the least. So one day, after not getting any sleep that night, it was just a really rough day. I was just having a hard day, having to stop and feed him consistently because he wasn't getting a lot. So he was just hungry and hungry and hungry. I just started crying, like just bawling my eyes out, crying to my husband, saying like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Mentally, I do not want to breastfeed anymore. I can't breastfeed anymore. So I told my husband that, and he said like, that's up to you, it's fine. My postpartum anxiety has been very, very, very bad this time around. It was not like that with Nevaeh. I had no problem giving Nevaeh formula, like no problem at all. I was like, here, take formula, like whatever. This time I really, really, really did not want to give him formula. I put so much pressure on myself to breastfeed that I felt like I 100% have to breastfeed. I cannot give him formula. And my first kid was formula fed, and she is completely fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with formula at all. But for me, I put that pressure on myself of, no, you have to breastfeed. This is better for your kid. You're a bad mom if you don't. Like my anxiety would not let me put him on formula. And obviously my husband is very caring and understanding, was like, babe, it's fine. Like he can be on formula. He's absolutely fine. It's not gonna hurt him in any way. So I kept going with the feeding consistently and not getting a break and just crying all the time because I was just so overwhelmed because he wasn't eating enough. And obviously he never lost any weight, because I think that would have been very alarming, but he never lost any weight. He's still my chunky little boy. Like he was not like starving by any means. He was just needed to nurse more to get more. So I just kept nursing for a while, and then there came a day where I talked to my best friend, I talked to my mom, I talked to my husband, I talked to my grandma, I talked to my aunt, I talked to a lot of people and said like, what if I switch to formula? Like, is this a bad thing? Like, I feel bad. Like, does this make me a bad mom if I switch to formula? And they were all like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, a fed baby is a fed baby. Fed is best. And so I went to the store that night and I bought the water, like the baby purified water or whatever, a can of formula, the same formula that I had my daughter on, and then I bought like the formula container, I bought a bunch of bottles, I bought all of the stuff needed to formula feed a baby. And I came home and I formula fed him. I gave him a few bottles with formula, and I thought, like, okay, I am done breastfeeding. Like, I quit. I'm done breastfeeding. And then I was laying in bed one night, and the anxiety really came to me. And in my mind, it had to be one or the other. Like, I couldn't be doing both. It had to be breastfed or formula fed. It could not be shady gray area. Like, it had to be one or the other in my mind. And one night, I'm just laying in bed, and the anxiety hit me, and I thought that I was not trying hard enough. I was not doing what was best for him. So I started eating. I started drinking an unholy amount of water. I started stressing myself out so bad because I was trying to get my supply up. I was feeding, pumping. I threw out the formula. I didn't throw it out, but I quit giving him the formula again. And I started pumping again. And y'all, when I say that stressed me out so bad, my supply is now back up since I started doing that, since I started taking supplements, since I started drinking the drinks, eating the cookies, feeding, pumping. Since I started doing that, my supply is up, and I truly think it is because I'm eating and drinking more. That is a very, very, very crucial part in breastfeeding that you really underestimate. So yes, my supply is back up. A few days ago, I looked in the freezer, and when I say I was pumping literally 1/4 of an ounce. Hudson drinks probably about 5 to 6 ounces per feeding. So 1/4 of an ounce, I would need like literally like 20 of those little 1/4 of an ounces heated up and to make one single bottle. And I just sat and I looked at it and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to leave. Like, I want to breastfeed until he is 18 months. Like, that is my goal. I want to get to 6 months and then 12 months and then hopefully 18 months. I don't see myself going past 18 months just because of a preference, but I wanted to go at least to 18 months. And I was looking at those freezer bags and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to leave because I'm never going to get that milk supply. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be able to leave and go on a date with my husband. I'm never gonna be able to leave and go out with my friends for the next 18 months. And that stressed me out so bad because every mom needs a break. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to be filling yourself up and pouring from a full cup, not an empty cup. So I gave him a bottle of formula and I pumped what was left in my boobs, and he had a bottle of formula again. And I decided from that point on that he will be a formula fed and a breastfed baby, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If I'm around, he can have the boobs. If I'm gone, I will leave someone with formula and I will pump while I'm gone, just so my supply doesn't decrease. But he is now a formula fed and a breastfed baby, and I am so much happier. I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I'm not stressing myself out. I feel like my kid is fed and happy, and I'm not doing anything wrong by giving my kid formula, because fed is best. And so, moral of the story is, formula fed or breastfed, it really doesn't matter. Fed is best. And obviously everybody's breastfeeding journey is different. For me, when I finally took a step back and said, I have to do what's best for me too, because yes, maybe breast milk is better for a baby, but is formula fed better for me? Yes. So sometimes you have to do what's best for you too. And each mom's breastfeeding journey is different. Do not compare yourself to other moms, because their breastfeeding journey is different than yours will be. Don't stress yourself out. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't put yourself in a bad mental spot. whether your kid is formula fed or breastfed, the number one thing they need is a happy mom, and you can't do that if you are mentally stressing out. So I know I rambled a lot, but I just wanted to say to all of my fellow moms, fed is best, and you know, it's okay. Whatever you choose to do, it's okay. Formula fed, breastfed, they are both completely fine. And try not to put so much stress on yourself, because it's going to be okay. As long as your baby's fed, it is okay. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble for however many minutes this video is. But if you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we are doing a giveaway when we hit 1,500 subscribers or get monetized, whichever comes first. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.